Hi, welcome. Simon here and hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be doing a speaker replacement on a MacBook Pro. If you're not sure what model this is, take a look at the back of your laptop. You should be able to identify the model that says A1398. That is the MacBook Pro 15-inch. And I'll be replacing with these two speakers here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll be using a Pentaloop P5. Got to remove all the screws here and get to the back plate. So start removing all the screws. There are 4 screws on the top, 1 screw in the middle left and 1 screw in the middle right, and there are 4 screws here at the bottom. Once you have removed all the screws, you then can open up the back cover by just simply lift it up. You're gonna hear the 2 clicker here in the middle, the pop, which is normal. Once you remove, and you can see the 2 side of the clicker was pushed into the middle right there. Okay, once you have removed the back cover, you will see the entire internal part of your laptop. The first thing I like to do is to go ahead and disconnect the battery. So that is the battery connector. I can just use my fingernail and pop it towards my body, and that's how you disconnect that. All right, if you want, you can remove the entire plastic cover to have a better view for this. All right, so let's go ahead and start removing the screws. I'll be using a T4 screwdriver. This is the Torque T4. First thing I like to do is to remove the hard drive. So remove that 1 screw, lift it slightly gently, lift it up slightly at about, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, and slide it to your left. You just lift it up a little so that you can slide it off. That is for the hard drive. And then the next step is to go ahead and start removing some of the screws here. These 2 screws is holding down the bracket. That is for the USB I/O board on this side of the laptop. And then just lift it up. The connector, they're kind of like Lego. They snap onto it. To remove, just lift it up. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like this at this point. Start doing it on this side here. This one. And then do the same. Lift it up. And you might want to get a plastic prying tool to go underneath this plastic here, which is like a tape, taping down the connector. Once you flip it back, and there's a connector right there that you need to open it up first. Okay, there's a clipper, not a connector, but more like a clipper, the black little clipper. You need to flip it up and then slide the keyboard down to remove it, to disconnect. Okay, this is your speaker here. We're going to remove and change it out. So all you have to do is just lift it straight up. Just lift it up to disconnect. Okay, this is your, I believe it's the microphone. There's a clipper. Open the clipper up and slide the cable to your left. Okay, once you disconnect the cable, just leave it as that. We're going to remove the CPU fan. There are 3 screws. And then you want to disconnect the clipper by lifting the clipper up. Open the clipper, and you want to slide that flex cable away from your body, slide it out, and the entire fan will just come right off. There's a little rubber covering up the screw, remove that. And remove the silver screw. This is your LCD. Go underneath that little clipper, the metal clipper there. Okay, go underneath, open it up, and slide the cable to your right to remove it. Go ahead and remove the 2 screw that is connecting to your DC jack. Remove that. Okay, I'm going to remove some of the screws here that is holding the motherboard. That's one. That's the second. And then there's a little clipper flex cable right here. Just leave it, disconnect, just open it up. And we're going to peel this little plastic cover to the back, and we're going to disconnect the Wi-Fi cable. So let's go ahead and lift it straight up. And then this cable here, you're going to push it and slide it to your left. So I'm pushing it gently. The metal part here, just push it. Push and pull pretty much. And you need to peel it to the back and disconnect it all the way. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the screw. We are going to remove 3 screws so that the CPU fan can come off. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 screws. And open up this clipper and slide the cable away from your body. And now you can remove the CPU fan. I like to disconnect this cable here. So go ahead and open up that metal clipper and slide the cable down. Remove this tiny little screw that is holding the motherboard. And here comes the speaker. Disconnect by lifting it up. You notice that the cable is tucked underneath the motherboard, right? So this is the cable. It goes underneath to that and it comes out from that side. And we're going to remove this metal screw, the silver screw here on the top left corner, right here. You can see it. Okay. And now we want to disconnect this plastic. What I did, I just pull and lift it up. So it's kind of a clip-on thing. You clip it on. So just pull and lift it up. Now we can have the motherboard being free. Okay, and we have a middle screw here. Okay. And the motherboard would just come right off. I'm just going to leave it here on the side. I'm going to walk directly to the speaker. Remove that screw. 1. The second screw. And the third at the very bottom. And you just want to slide that speaker out. So that is the broken speaker, and here's the replacement. I'd like to slide it back in. Okay. Make sure you know where the screw that goes back. This is a tiny little one that goes to the top right. And then the longest screw, the biggest one, goes in the middle. and then the skinny screw goes to the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure that this cable is removed. Okay, let's remove the screws. There are 3 screws again holding down. That is the biggest screw, the skinny long one. And then we need to remove this board here. So I'm going to remove 1 screw, second screw. Okay, let me explain it again. So there are 2 screws holding down the board. The first one here is on the top right corner, bottom left corner. Remove that so we can slide this board out on the side to get into the tiny screw for that speaker. So we have 3 screws holding it down. You then can remove this. Okay, here is the replacement speaker I have. So let's go ahead and slide it in like such. Make sure the cable is hidden underneath. We're going to go back and install it after. Remember there are 3 screws holding down the speaker, so go ahead and put it back in together. The biggest one is in the middle. And then the skinny long one is at the bottom. Once you have done with that, go ahead and put the USB board back together. Remember there are 2 screws holding it down. One on the top right and one is the bottom. Okay, once you have done with that process, we then now should put the motherboard back together, making sure all the cables is going to be flipping open so that when the motherboard goes on top, it doesn't get clipped back onto. So slide this thing in first, the DC jack, and then the motherboard. What I like to do is maybe put the screw holding down the DC jack first, because this thing is just wobbly at this point. So let me have the 2 screw holding the connector, the charging port. Put it back in together. Okay. Now holding it down, slide the motherboard in first. You need to make sure that the USB metal here is sitting underneath the base, okay? Not above the base, underneath the base. Okay, where's my cable? Is on top. There's another keyboard cable here, goes on top, making sure they're sitting on top. My speaker cable is on top. Okay, battery go on top, and this speaker here goes on top, this cable. Okay, there's another cable right here, make sure it goes on top. Okay, looks like everything is above on top, and making sure that the heatsink here is not having a bit of a problem. I need to push it in a little bit more looks like the connector on this side is not in. Okay, now they are in. Recheck all my cables, making sure they are sitting above. Speaker here goes on top. Okay, looks good. All right, we have everything. You just wanted to make sure that the screws that goes back to the motherboard are ready, sitting on top. Okay, so there's one there, one here, one right in the middle. Okay, and then there's one here. The silver screw should go, oops, holding the heatsink. That is for that. And the silver screw holds the heatsink. Making sure the rubber goes back in there. Okay, you're going to reconnect all the cables. So you want to slide the cable back in, making sure that the clipper is open when you do that. And here comes the speaker. You just snap it back on. Make sure the keyboard clipper is open. So tuck the keyboard flex cable underneath. And then just push it back in. I'm going to pull a little bit. This little tap, make sure you pull to snug it all the way in. Close it down. Tape it down. Reconnect this cable. Here comes the speaker. Reconnect that. This cable here, just like Lego, snap back on top. This is the LCD. Slide it back in. Make sure you align it properly first. It's all about patience and align it correctly. Once you have it aligned, you then can slide it in and close it down with the clipper, that metal clipper. Do not forget this one here. Push it down. Okay, we're going to install the fan. Clipper is open. Slide that cable back in first, like so. And then push that clipper back down. Secure that, and 3 screws. The tiny one goes to the top left. The long one goes to the top right. And there's a middle one that goes to the bottom right. I'm gonna put this rubber back together. Okay, making sure the cable clipper is open. Gonna slide this one back in. Make sure you push all the way in where it carves out the white line, and then you push the clipper down to hold it. Clip it down. The flat goes to the top right. The long screw goes to the top left. And then the middle one goes to the bottom left. Okay, now I'm going to clip this clipper back together. Have this metal bracket goes back on top of the connector and 2 screws. connector goes back on top with the bracket, and have the 2 screws here go back in. And we have this little tiny screw which is holding down the motherboard on this side of it. Now let's reconnect this webcam cable. I'm going to push it to your right, so I'm going to slide it in and then use this plastic cable to help me to push it all the way in. Okay, once it's in, the shortest cable goes to the far left, that is for your Wi-Fi. They're just like a circle that goes on top of each other, so the connector is just regular circle. Do not want to force it in. All you have to do is just be patient, making sure you align them properly, and then just push it in. This cable here is very simple. You just have to pop it back in. Okay, and then slide it in like such, covered it up. Do not forget your hard drive. Push it all the way in. Connect the power. Put the screws back. That's pretty much it. I think we have all set it up. Let's turn it on and see how it goes. Hopefully there's no more blown speaker sound. So let's put it back. Have the 2 screws. If you find this video is helpful, please give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. And for those of you who really appreciate for my video and you would like to show appreciation, please click on the super thank. In YouTube, the super thank allows you to do donation or show appreciation by sending money, I think, gift, whatever. I think it's money. So if you really would like to show your appreciation, and if this video is helpful to you, please click on that super thank. I really appreciate that. And if you have any question, of course, comment down below. I do read your comment and I'll answer your question through the comments. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the computer and test the sound. That's my whole goal, is to making sure that it works. Okay. I will not show you the screen, but I'll play a music and hopefully we can identify the repair. Okay, let me go ahead and put in the password and cover this up. Oh, for those of you not sure where to buy the tools and the replacement part, please check the link down in the description below. I'll direct you to either Amazon or eBay, where you can find the replacement parts as well as the tools. Okay. Come on, hurry up. Chrome, fire up, hurry up. It's taking too long, so I'm just gonna play the sound from the computer here. Great, the battery died. Oh well. I think the video is too long. Trust me, the speaker is replaced and it works. I couldn't able to show it to you, but maybe in a shorts or something. But anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.